technology, specifically on the road, takes the driver's seat in this special edition of CNN 10. My name is Carl Azus. Thanks for watching this Friday, because Fridays are awesome. We're wrapping up our series on autonomous or driverless cars. Manufacturers around the world are investing in the technology to develop them. Businesses and consumers are anticipating ways they can use them. But one important thing to point out is that right now, on a scale of driving autonomy, we are at zero. Human drivers are completely in charge, or supposed to be, of all a car's systems. Some vehicles, like Tesla's Model S, do offer an autopilot mode, which the company calls a driver assistance system. But the technology is still being developed, and it's not meant to be completely relied upon by drivers. A car on autopilot was involved earlier this week in a highway crash with a fire truck. There weren't any injuries. Besides questions about their safety, though, we've talked about the potential of driverless cars to be hacked. We've covered concerns about tracking and privacy. We've explored their possible impact on the U.S. economy. And today, we're giving you a glimpse of what could be the future of autonomous vehicles, their use specifically in American cities, supposing everything goes as hoped by the manufacturers and supporters of driverless technology. Here's Chris Moody.
Americans love their cars. Getting my first car was one of the happiest days of my life. And I've loved driving ever since, especially fast cars. Yeah, that's not actually my car, but hey, look, this is my story and I can dream if I want to. But what if I'm part of the last generation to get excited about driving a car? I've spent the past year traveling the country, talking to entrepreneurs, engineers, and test drivers who are building the cars of tomorrow. And when they imagine the future, driving a car isn't part of it. They envision roads full of cars driven by machines, where traffic jams are no more, where the death rate by car accidents drops to zero. The end of car ownership as we know it. Even to the point of human driving one day becoming illegal. I asked them all the same thing. What will the future look like? And what will it take to get there? What I found was really exciting, but also a bit shocking.
Okay, so as soon as I turn out of this parking lot, I'm gonna engage in self-driving mode. Right. So technically, we don't need a driver in the car.
So you and I are basically, in a way, just passengers now.
Yes.
We're test driving a car powered by autonomous vehicle startup Drive AI on the streets of Northern California. It's one of several companies working to utterly transform how we live. This test car could be the prototype of an automobile that not only takes you out of the driver's seat, but creates a future where you might not need to own a car at all. At least, that's what the people building them think.
Ownership will probably be abandoned. We mostly have cars that we summon on our phone. The car will come empty to us and pick us up, and we get inside in front of our office or our house, and it drives us straight to the restaurant, and there's no time wasted with parking.
In a world of self-driving cars, the utopia of the future, the only vehicles operating in the city are driverless electric emissionless vehicles. They can position themselves in a state where you or I, hailing one from our smartphone, has one there within a minute.
We will look back and say, wow, people own cars to get from this point to that point?
Eliminating car ownership would drastically change the way we shape our cities.
The thing I'm most excited about is the ability on the street to reallocate space away from the storage of vehicles. Right now, cars sit idle 94.8% of the time. I mean, that's staggering. And I think we could literally close 30–40% of our streets to automobiles. You don't need cars on neighborhood streets anymore. You just need them on the perimeter of your neighborhood.
All of those parking facilities today get turned into residential space or parks or offices or restaurants, and we can kind of give back the city to the people that live in it and take it away from the automobiles, right? And I think that the quality of life and the opportunity to kind of reuse that space is going to be pretty magical.
Imagine it, never driving again. The nation of muscle cars, NASCAR, and open road. You're gonna tell Americans they can't drive? Well, eventually, maybe.
There may be a law in place that basically says 50 years from now, humans cannot drive on public roads. And if a human does want to drive, you actually go to a private car ranch where you can basically drive to your heart's content.
All right, I know what you're thinking. A car ranch? But it's actually not that crazy. Remember, when we transitioned from horses to automobiles, we didn't shoot all the horses. Well, guess what? These car ranches actually already exist. Think of car companies that build high-end sports cars that are meant to be driven by humans, not robots. They're already building driving courses around the country. And yes, they're as fun as they sound.
We opened in May 2015. You'll come in, you'll register and meet your driving coach, and then the driving coach will then take you onto the track. We believe this destination that we've created has got a long-term future.
Porsche knows that driverless technology is around the corner, but they still want people to love driving, even if they do less of it on public roads.
It's like being a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, seriously. All right, let's get back to the real world. The rise of car-sharing services has already made people accustomed to the idea of not owning a car. Today, human drivers pick us up when we use Uber or Lyft. But that's not gonna last.
Autonomous ride sharing is absolutely coming. It is right around the corner, and you'll see it in pockets at first, and slowly and surely you'll start to see these vehicles all over the place. There is an opportunity on a long enough timeline where we may have a fleet that is fully autonomous. As you start to see people adopt to transportation as a service, the hope here is that car ownership will slowly decline.
The ripple effect of automation on our cities will be felt beyond just cars. Drones will roam the skies, making deliveries. And robots, like this one already in Washington, D.C., may bring food orders to your door very soon. In the nation's capital, Starship Technologies delivers food by an automated robot.
There it is. Hello, robot. I'd like a sandwich. Man. All right. So I just had a robot deliver me a sandwich on the streets of Washington, D.C. It's just in the trial phase right now, but in the future it could be a lot more common. Robots, drones, deliver your hoagie right to your house. All you gotta do is push a button on an app and you got yourself a sandwich.
All of these changes won't come easy. Perhaps the biggest fear? What will happen when all these robots get better at our jobs than we are? Will they replace us?
To be clear though, most experts say it'll be decades before completely driverless cars would fill America's roads. So for the near future, humans will still be more than autonomously in control. I'm Carl Azus. That wraps up this week's coverage on CNN 10. We're looking forward to seeing you on Monday.